Welcome back to Talking Turf. You've got 60 seconds to grab a cuppa. Do what you need to do. We'll be back. There's plenty to talk about. You've got 115 shot. Actually, I haven't. We are back.
Yes.
How are you all doing? How are you doing, Gary?
Good, man. Good.
Good. Nice and loud and clear there. Absolutely fantastic. So, instead of starting off with a week's results, I want to start off with this, Gary. I've just told you there backstage before we came on about it, and you were surprised. So, if you're surprised, that means quite a lot of surprise and haven't heard. Because I didn't before Martin told us neither. So we're going to present and share screen. I'll click on. Boom. That come up?
Yep.
Yes. So it's been revealed the 8-club list of teams who gave evidence against Man City in the legal fight. Arsenal and Man United lead the divided league. On Monday, Manchester City won a landmark victory against the Premier League after judges ruled some of the competition sponsorship rules are unlawful. Associated party transactions regulations are intended to prevent companies associated with the owners of football clubs from deliberately paying over the odds for deals with clubs themselves. The rules were brought in following the Saudi takeover of Newcastle United in an attempt to stop wealthy owners from using link-ups to boost their team's revenues so they can spend more money without breaking financial fair play rules. In City's case, the rules led to the Premier League to reject a new sponsorship deal the club had lined up with Etihad late in 2023, as well as a second agreement with Abu Dhabi-based bank. A panel of 3 judges have now ruled the league was wrong to stop the deals because elements of the ATB regulation breaches the Competition Act. If I come off that, and come back on here and then go on to share screen again, just quickly. We'll go on to the club statement from Manchester City. Club statement. Following today's publication of the Rule X Arbitral Tribunal Award, Manchester City Football Club thanks the distinguished members of the tribunal for their work and considerations and welcomes their findings. The club has succeeded with its claim. The associated party transaction APT rules have been found to be unlawful, and the Premier League's decisions on 2 specific MCFC sponsorship transactions have been set aside. The tribunal found that both the original APT rules and the current APT rules violate UK competition law and violate the requirements of procedural fairness. The Premier League was found to have abused its dominant position. The tribunal have determined both that the rules are structurally unfair and that the Premier League was specifically unfair in how it had applied those rules to the club in practice. The rules were found to be discriminatory in how they operate because they deliberately excluded shareholder loans. As well as these general findings on legality, the tribunal set aside specific decisions of the Premier League to restate the fair market value of two transactions entered into by the club. The tribunal held that the Premier League had reached the decisions in a procedurally unfair manner. The tribunal also ruled that there was an unreasonable delay in the Premier League's fair market value assessment of 2 of the club's sponsorship transactions, and so the Premier League breached its own rules. Wow, Gary.
All right. basically, when City came at the Premier League, they've obviously threw everything at them, and the Premier League's just absolutely shit their pants, and they've just, we're not getting into that. Because how can you punish like other clubs for these breaches and then let these get off? They're the only ones that's went after the Premier League, though, and I think their lawyers are probably a little bit too clever for the Premier League lawyers, so they've kind of just got them all over a barrel, I think. But that's what money does, isn't it?
I said that a few weeks ago. I says they've got any chance. You know, like the Premier League is like put together clever people, didn't get us wrong, but these are multi-billionaires. Their lawyers are like top of the tree. They've got no chance of like. I didn't think they'd get away with it because obviously they've done Leicester and they've done Everton in Nottingham Forest. So I thought they're gonna have to punish them. Be interesting to see how it turns out. But obviously, on the flip side of the coin, you've got Newcastle United sitting there, who really, you know, like with the money they've got, it's opened up a whole different market, hasn't it, mate?
Definitely. It'll be interesting to see the response from like them teams, and that obviously it'll not be knee-jerk and straight away, but you know, something comes into the press in the next few days, because surely them clubs, like you mentioned before, they'll be sitting looking at this, and they'll be wondering how they've been punished and these haven't. You would think.
You would think that, but can't believe it. Honestly, can't believe it.
Yeah.
I don't have anybody else now have any more info on it and give you a bit more info. But is that it all our new then? Is that the charges? All the charges dropped, or is there only so many charges dropped, or what? I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you do know. Martin Spaulding saying evening, lads. As is Billy Noble.
Evening.
Geordie Tune for life. Evening, Melly and Gary. Let the show begin. Everton to beat the Tune. Easy days, Melly. How are you, man? Evening, lads. Says Terry Hagland. Good evening, everybody. Thanks very much for joining. We really appreciate it. Let's get talking about the Premier League. But first off, let's talk about local teams. Sunderland. Sunderland 2, Leeds 2. Rig scores for Sunderland again. Perot equalises for Leeds before half time. Firpo scores just after and then 90 plus 7 added minutes. An own goal from Firpo makes it 2s each. I don't know if you've seen it, Gary, did you?
It's an absolute howler, isn't it?
Jesus.
That keeper. Jesus.
You couldn't make it absolutely livid, wouldn't you? You know what you'd be more livid about if you were a Leeds fan? It's how I suppose you've got to laugh about it, haven't you?
He's laughing at
the Sunderland manager. He's laughing. Like, you know yourself, Leeds fans are they would be absolutely livid with that. Like,
absolutely. Good point, though.
Another good point for Sunderland, really, mate. The Leeds aren't any dummies, you know. It keeps them top of the league, keeps them 19 points, joint top with Sheffield United. Then Burnley, West Brom, Leeds, Watford, Norwich, Blackburn. Sitting in 9th is Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough lost 2-1 to Watford at the weekend. They took an early lead through Edmondson, but in the last 15 minutes, they couldn't keep it together. And Kayembe and Bar scored. So had they won that, that would have put them third. We would have had 5 North teams, really. You know, like sitting in the top positions.
So, yeah, Ashton's got a new manager as well, haven't they?
Good manager as well. I'm sure he come from Mope, if you know, like he's Nick. Is it Greer?
I'm not sure who it was. I just seen that there, but they've been stinking form, Ashton, like, haven't they? So they need someone to try and turn it around. Like, maybe that's what they need.
You know what, mate? Let's just tell you this quickly, right? I'm just gonna search it up, Ashton. Yes, it's Nick somebody, I'm sure. Sure, it was Gray. Nick Gray. So Nick Gray introduced quite a lot of motive, you know. He got them steady. I don't know how it ended because I'm not gonna pretend that I know loads about the
Billy's saying there. Billy Noble's saying there. Nick Gray used to be
at Motive from Whitley. He set up like this junior section where Jack was actually gonna join it. So they picked the kids up. There was like a university, so they had to pick a trade. So they did that trade 2 days a week, but they played football. It was like a professional setup, like for the kids.
Right.
So they went away to college. They had a bus that took them there. He set all that up. So it's exciting times for Ashington. Definitely, 100%. Good manager, good pedigree. Thinks about the youth setup, which will probably see the return of Ashington juniors, because when Mo Jack was younger, Ashington had the setup from top to bottom. Like it started at under sevens, it ended at Ashington EFC if you were good enough. You know
Well,
what I mean?
I thought that's what that Ashington, there was some sort of Ashington thing set up maybe it was about 6 or 7 years ago, wasn't there? But I thought that's what that was kind of Ashington Town, wasn't it? And there was a load of clubs and that, but I thought that's what that would end up being, but it never turned out to be, did it?
Nah. Ashington Colliers. Ashington Colliers had a good setup, mate. The plan was at the time when they bought that Woodhorn Lane was to have the junior section to the other side, where the show's gone.
Mm-hmm.
The juniors would all play there and on the 4G at the Hearst Welfare, and then steady away into the club, So now what happened? I spoke to Shotton about it when he come in for a bit crack the other week, and he said, he says, I think they lost some committee because, on junior level, you've got to have chairmans, etc., etc., etc. And I think a lot of people just started to come apart. There was a lot done, a lot said, and then Ashington just really focused on Ashington because Davy Brun had the reserves. Can you remember?
Aye.
Davy just ended up leaving them as well, and there's no reserves now. You know what I mean? You've only got the Ashington main team.
It's crazy, really, when you think about it, because obviously, and our kids, one plays for Newbiggin, but then the others play for Ellerton. It's there's a massive catchment area, teams in the run to Ashington, really, isn't there? So it's crazy that. And there's some good youngins, that's been at Newcastle and stuff like that, at the younger ages. So it's crazy, really, because Ashington should be keeping their hands on them local players, I think.
Definitely, 100%, mate. And I think that's what Nick will bring. He's that type of bloke. So you'll not just be focusing on the first team. He'll be He'll be what we haven't got up north is a hub. Newcastle, Washington's got 2. I think Newcastle's got 1, and Sunderland's got 1. But South East Northumberland, we haven't got 1. So hopefully in the next few years we will have 1. Ashington, Elton, Lymouth, Linton, Amble, because we have got good players. There's no reason for them to go and play our in Newcastle. If they're good, they can play here. If they're good enough, they're going to get seen and they'll get took away,
Yep.
Fingers crossed it's on the up. Good appointment from Ashington, though. Good weekend for Sunderland, not so good for Middlesbrough. Kind of put it right this weekend, can they? Because obviously there's an international break. But that brings us on, Gary, to the Premier League. The early kickoff was Crystal Palace 0, Liverpool 1.
Aye. I mean, I'll be honest. I didn't see it. I was busy. I was working on Saturday. I have seen the highlights from
Greedy
it.
shift, Greedy shift.
No, just trying to catch up. You know what it's like. But I've looked at the highlights over. I watched much of the day as well. And I mean, Palace had their chances, really. I mean, they missed a couple of good opportunities, I thought. And I don't know what any other people think, but anywhere else on the pitch, that Van Dijk pull it's a free kick. I cannot believe they didn't get a penalty for that.
It's mental.
Can it?
It's absolutely mental. Let's just check this.
For
but I need to double check.
The ones that you see, given these days, that any other team in the league, that's a penalty. For
if it's in the other box, it's a penalty.
How many times do you see Mo Salah get touched on his shoulder or anything, and he's doing, and it's a penalty? But for it not to be, I mean, did it even go to the VAR or what? It's crazy.
I went to VAR, and what they said was because he wasn't in, he wasn't going to affect
the goal scoring opportunity.
Yeah, that it wasn't given. Bullshit. It's a foul in the box. They know that anything can happen in the box. When the ball drops, anything can happen.
Well, that's it. I mean,
it's 100% a penalty, and people will be watching this thinking, you're just Man United fans. You better. In fact, you know what? They'll probably not. They'll probably be looking and thinking, no, it was a penalty. because it was. You've got to speak as you find, haven't you? It's a penalty.
But because we spoke about it last week as well, and we're saying that this is the thing. It's like what we want to see is the consistency. Like 5 years ago, none of them's pens, none of the ones that we've been talking about. But like the last 2 years, they are penalties. So if you're giving them the other teams, you've got to give it for everyone. Like if there's contact and you're pulling someone's shirt back, it's a penalty. It doesn't matter whether he's going to head the ball or not, because you've given it like a million times to other teams. So you've got to give that one.
Aye.
But I ran over.
Again, sitting top of the league, and they'll say like it's a revolution. This Arnie's slot. It's not like it's not. Look, they haven't played anybody. I had this argument with Shaney's boss Dan. They haven't played anybody. He's a Scottish Scouser. He said, we're top of the league. You want to put in your bet new? Like I says, Dan, you haven't played anybody? He says, you're right, we haven't. Having a dig, basically Man United. They came to Man United and they got the win. Apart from Man United, mate, at the minute, everybody's beat Man United. So you haven't actually played anybody. They've got good teams to come up against. They honestly, hand on me heart, they are going to get found out. I'm telling you. They're going to get found out.
If you look at the fixtures coming up,
actually,
bring them up because they have got such a run in Shane. Obviously, he's Liverpool.
International break, obviously. Then they are at home to Chelsea. First game back. 3 days later, they've got to travel over to Leipzig, right? 4 days after that, they're traveling away to Arsenal. They've got Brighton away in the AFL Cup 3 days later. And then we've got Brighton at home actually after that.
In the league.
They have, you're right. So in the next month, they've got Chelsea, Leipzig, Arsenal, Brighton twice, Leverkusen, Aston Villa, and Southampton. And Real Madrid. Of November.
And then I'm sure they've got Newcastle and City after that.
Right, they have City, Newcastle, Everton, the derby. So we'll see. Look, I've always said you've got to judge the league at Christmas, haven't you? But let's judge this league at the end of November, maybe, and see where they're at. They've got some tough fixtures coming up. That's when you can judge Liverpool and see how good they are. Because so far, let's have a look at the results. They beat Crystal Palace 1-0. Obviously, they beat Bologna 2-0 at home. They just beat Wolves 2-1. They hammered West Ham in the AFL Cup. Let's be honest. Liverpool beat Bournemouth 3-0 at home. They got beat off Nottingham Forest 1-0. They beat us, and they beat Brentford 2-0, and they beat Ipswich 2-0. So a lot of 2-0 scorelines there, but the games were a lot closer, I thought, than what the scoreline suggests. Maybe we are hating a little bit more on Liverpool than we should be, but I just think they haven't played anybody, and I think they're going to get funded.
It'd be interesting to see, because for me, when you look at Liverpool, they've got a good start in 11. I'm not denying that, and at times they are really good to watch. But I do also think when you look at their bench these days, have they got much to change games? I don't know. I think there's teams better than them. Obviously we're going to get onto those, but so Arsenal and that. I just think they're going to have a little bit too much. I think they'll finish top 4, but I don't think they'll win the league.
Nah.
But
Cheney's boss. You want to bet that will win something? I say, not win out, man. You're not going to win out. Honestly, you're not good enough. They're not good enough to win out. There's miles better teams than them about. Crystal Palace just quickly, Gary. Horrible run of form for them. Got beat off Liverpool, got beat off Everton, drew us, drew with Leicester, drew with Chelsea, got beat off Crystal Palace, got beat off Brentford, all in the Premier League. They did win 2 games in the AFL Cup. They beat Norwich 4-0 and they beat QPR 2-1, which you'd probably expect them to do. But 3 points from a possible, 18? Is it?
Is that what
21?
Struggling.
I didn't see that coming.
No, me neither. No. It's obviously them front 3 last season were absolutely mint together. You break that chain and it's hard. It is hard to repair it, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And ultimately, that's obviously what's costing them, or looks like. But aye,
It happens time and time again. It happened with Vieira. It's happened with Roy Hodgson the last time out. Every time, and then Roy seems to come in and save them. The end of last season when I was there, the fans were a lot more optimistic, and they were saying like, doing really well. The coach is like very attack minded. We've got a good, big, strong team, and they did. They had an excellent finish to the season, but then obviously they get plotted. The Seagulls come in. Knee pun intended there in the Sniper Palace, and it's shown. It's shown. I mean, if they'd lost Guy as well, I think that's why they have hung on. The new, like you're taking the backbone of the defense out there, as well as what the rest of the players they lost. Mate,
I mean,
Alicia
Alicia was like getting goals galore for them, wasn't he? Which
yeah,
is winning games.
scoring
Like
for Bayern, isn't he?
exactly. I mean, he's the kind of player like at the weekend. He might have been the difference to even get them a point or something. But when you lose that, it's massive, isn't it? So, but we did say that at the end of the season they would need to hold on to their players.
You didn't just lose that though, do you? Because like, yes, you've lost them, but then you've got Eze. Who's playing like the head is bonding. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. It's like the three of them together. Aye.
It's the glue, isn't it? People just fall apart, and that is proven by the results. So it's sad, and I hope that I hope they find a bit of form. See how it goes. Sorry, there's messages coming in mental. Yeah, let's just flick through these, Gary, quickly. I don't want to say the team spend hundreds and hundreds of millions more than the top clubs. I just want a fairer league, not the red cartel. Nicky Gray used to be at Morpeth and Whitley. Morpeth Academy, Warshire done it. It was a time met, but now at Asherton College. Yeah, top of the league, lads. Walton, we'll have to get to that. The fantasy league. Nelly, all right, is saying, I know you're saying a big catchment area, but there's a lot of decent teams in the area fighting for those players.
Not that can offer. I see what he's saying. There is a catchment area, but not one that offers like a direct route from like say, junior football to playing for like semi-professional. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I think Blythe Town might have one. I don't know if it's directly to the first team, but that's kind of what we meant, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. Aye, I think Elton's trying to get there now. That they are trying hard. They've got the junior section in place. They have got the senior section, and Ray Dunn and Sarah Gare and the rest of them, they're trying hard to get that. They've got the grounds and stuff, I think they're a little way off, but at least they're making progress. I don't know if anybody knows, but I'm having an interview with Liz Dunn, and we're gonna try and have like a proper hub point at Lymouth, Nelly. Get like a Muga there where there's a lot of junior teams in. We've obviously got the seniors there. We're trying to kind of get an over 40s team in. So, there'll be a lot happening in Lymouth if this comes off. We'll just have to see how it goes. So, the future is bright. Asherton, I think, need to introduce the junior section again. So they've got that, like we'll see it all the way through. We've got the potential of going to play on for Asherton. 1% of players around here will make it. Like everybody wants their kid to be a professional. But the reality is only 1% of children locally will make it to the professional stage. If you look at all the players now, you've only got like Longstaff and you've got that kid at Liverpool. I don't know how many others. There might be some in the junior section at Newcastle, but professionals, there's not many make it. So you've just, it's about, for me, it's about having fun with your mates. And if you're good enough, you'll get picked up, won't you?
That's it.
Terry Agleton, Stonewall pain all day, man. Definitely, mate. It was a pain, but you're wrong saying it would be given against any other team. Any big team gets away with it. You're right. The big teams do get away with it a lot more than the little teams. Shocking, to be fair. Like we say, like it's
that's what we're saying, though, isn't it?
Consistency. Consistency. I think Gary says. Millions of cool down there asking for a friend. Their chairman says they have world-class players. Who are you on about there, Billy? Sorry, Palace. Mate. We need to catch up with the show.
Is he on about Palace?
Palace, aye, probably. you know, you might be laughing, Billy, but they have got good players. There's 4 or 5 in there would whack and most teams, you know. But at the minute, it's like Man United, isn't it? You know, like you're doing your look. There's some good players there, but you know, Ferry Highlands, hello, Shun, yeah, right.
Hello, Fairy.
Ferry sharing other flooring companies the other day, but I'll let you off, you little tinker. Your Tom's there, Harry, lads.
Hey,
Oh,
Tommy.
Tommy B. Daddy.
Pay me subs, I've been up the move.
Pay me subs, I mean, up the move. I knew he would. You remember the other week when he was managing against them?
Aye.
He says he'd be secretly wanting them to win, wouldn't he? He's like me through and through. Tom could still do a job in the hour 40s. 100%. He picks the ball. I've never seen anybody with vision like it. He needs to pass the ball. He's getting like Stag. Can you remember? One ball for him and one for everybody else. We'll get it gone though. Right. Arsenal 3, Southampton 1. Southampton take the lead in the second half through Archer. And then Arsenal, Kai Havertz, Martinelli, and Bukayo Saka finished the Saints off. And in another, you know, like Saints aren't having very much luck at the minute neither. But another defeat for them, Gary, and another win for Arsenal.
Arsenal have got this thing, like it's not just this game, like there's been a few games this season where they've been behind or teams have creeped up on them, and they have the ability to like just change the whole dynamic of a game by changing a few players, and they're not grinding out, like they make them changes and it's a total different style of football, and they just blow teams away. Like I'm totally envious of it because like the money that we're spending and stuff, and then you watch what they're doing, we're spending nowhere near as much, and you just think, how? But like they keep doing it, and they're gonna push City all the way this season, I think, like all the way.
I agree with you. I just think like it was plain sighting for everybody to see that they needed a strike and they didn't bat, and I think that's what's gonna let them do again. Aye.
We'll see.
100%.
Good to watch though.
Good to watch, aye. Good to watch it. I didn't like them, I'll be honest with you. I need to go back to this because I thought that was your term repeating that, but it's not. It's Ferry.
I was thinking
Johnson's not watching this. He'll be benched on Sunday. Yeah, Nelly, I get what you're saying. Well, there's plenty of teams at that level giving opportunities. The higher up the non-league you go, the better teams are watching. Cage just got to keep plugging away. 100%, mate. Definitely. Not nowadays, mate. Says your Tom. Moving on. Brentford 5, Wolves 3. Collins 1-0, 1 each through Kuna, 2-1 to Brentford and Bembo, 2 each. Lawson 3-2 to Brentford Norgard, 4-2 to Brentford Pinnock, and then Nuri scores 5-3. Yeah, that eight Nuri. How do you pronounce that? Is that right?
Aye.
Let's have a look. He scores like, doesn't he?
He cracking player like.
His ratings is like
8,
6.8. So you know he's consistent as well. Like he left back, isn't he?
Aye.
It's exactly what we need. Unbelievable. But another win for Brentford, mate. They're Brentford are standing where they're standing now, 11th above Man United, so they're doing well.
Right. I think it was it 3-2 or 4-2 just even at half time that game. It was mental.
It was 4-2, mate.
4-2 was half time. Can he half football to watch that? Some good goals in there, but like you say that in Buenos he scored again. Wolves look like they could be in trouble. Like the thing is, there's another few teams around them that keep losing as well, so they're all giving each other a bit of hope, I think, aren't they? But there are some poor teams at the minute, like in the league. Not naming us and that.
We're one of the main ones. Leicester 1, Bournemouth 0. Very, very important win for Leicester. Seems it was really hard fought as well. They didn't have as much possession as Bournemouth. Bournemouth had 17 goal attempts. There's only 2 on target, like an 11 off target, and 4 block shots. But a big win, Gary, that for Leicester. Takes them out the relegation zone. Puts them, I'm sure, Well, they're sitting in 15th now. 3 places above relegation.
Massive win for them, isn't it? That's where they need to be beating them sorts of teams at home for any sort of chance to stay up, and they have. So it's a good win and a clean sheet.
Aye, absolutely. Moving on, right? I don't know if you've seen this game or you've seen the highlights, Gary, but it was Man City 3, Fulham 2.
I did. I watched match of the day on Saturday night.
Mate.
Even Pep Guardiola came out after the game, and he says Fulham were the better team. He says they didn't deserve to get away without anything. Like he was totally honest about it, and it's nice and refreshing to see that, rather than just thinking like, no, we've got good given right to win. He says they were the best team like on the pitch. Even went up a Dharma Traore at the end because I mean, he literally missed 3 or 4 one-on-ones, and he was coached. He was telling them like what he needs to do, which is good to see that. But it
is, but depends what side of the coin you're looking at. You know, like if that's your player, if you're a fan of that team, you're thinking, you cheeky bastard.
Aye.
Who do you think you are?
I think it's probably the Spanish thing, isn't it, more than else in it? So,
but even their manager, you know, like you've got to be thinking like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? I see what he's doing. You know, it is good crack. But again, we're talking about glue, Gary, right? And another suits mental because Kovacic scored 2, but with no Rodri, do you think these are a different team?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. If you took Rodri to any team, it changes it, doesn't it? It's massive. Kovacic, I mean, he's not going to dictate and run a game the same way that Rodri can do it, and that is where Man City will get funded. I think. I really do think if he's out for the season, that Arsenal will win the league. That's where I'm starting again with it now.
Actually, I was going to say now about Liverpool. They lost Alisson at the weekend, you know.
He's injured again. He's injured again. I think he had just come back from an injury, hadn't he? And then he's injured again. The thing is, with Man City, even if they just keep within touching distance, I think you'll see them spend in January because they'll not want to give the league up. Like,
you can buy who you want now, can't you? Shit for the little clubs, isn't it? If City get away with this, it's shit for the little clubs. I mean, Todd Bowley's probably, clapping his hands there now. Because they've got to be a threat. I know they had a shit result at the weekend, but they've got that big of a squad that if that manager can get them to click, then they're gonna challenge because they can play.
No, they can.
So City come away again with another 3-2 win. City obviously beat Bratislava through the week 4-0. Drew Newcastle 1-1. Beat Watford 2-1. Drew Arsenal 2s each. Drew in and nils each. And then they beat Brentford 2-1. So they haven't been hammering teams. Do you know what I mean? But they've been dealing
enough.
Aye, exactly. So, you can never rule them out. They're sitting second, point behind Liverpool. Be interesting to see how it pans out. It's been a better season than I thought it was going to be. Obviously, for everybody else, not for us. Everybody's beating everybody, aren't they? Teams that are doing on the look are pulling wins out. Teams that have never beat anybody are drawn against the mighty Newcastle. Oh, hold on, we'll come to that in a minute. West Ham 4, Ipswich 1. Oh, I don't think any of us seen that coming. Antonio scoring for West Ham. D-Lap again scoring for Ipswich.
I nearly put him in the dream team at the weekend,
Did you?
In the fantasy, aye.
Come out?
No, I nearly put him in.
Because
he was like 1.7 million or something. I thought.
Aye. And his ratings are quite good and all, so, be a good addition. He'd be cheap him as well. Convincing win for West Ham. Puts them in 12th. Drops Ipswich down to just one place above the relegation on 4 points. Again, I think it might be a long season for them, Gary.
Oh, the four different scorers and all, wasn't it? It was probably all that big hitters, really. Bourne gets one, Kudus got one, that Lucas Paqueta, and who's the other one? The other striker. Who did you say?
Antonio.
Antonio. Couple of decent goals. But they needed that win though. I think West Ham, like at home, didn't they? Because had they not been struggling to like get like a bit of run of form together at home? Because we're talking about them a couple of weeks back, one was saying like with the new signings and stuff, we thought like they'd be doing a bit better. But
West Ham's record of late, obviously the drew with Brentford, they got beat, they got hammered off Liverpool, they got hammered off Chelsea 3-0. They drew with West Ham. Man City beat them 3-1. The last win was on the 28th of August where they beat Bournemouth 1-0. So either needed that.
They needed it.
Good
the,
win.
the manager looked like he did as well, though, like the way he was celebrating that win. But it's a good win for them. But like you say, there could be trouble on the horizon, like for a few teams struggling to pick points up.
Let's flick through these comments quickly before we go on to the last game of Saturday. No mouth at the minute. Ella all the way. You there? We want 10 Hag in. We want 10 Hag in. 10 Hag in, says Martin Gallen. We'll come to that. I think there's going to be a disagreement between me and Gary here. Nelly, did you know or see that he saved 2 pens last night? He saved 3, actually, didn't he?
I don't know. 2, I thought, on it.
No, I'm sure he saved 3 penalties. For Fiorentina against AC Milan. Let's have a look. Oh, it is just 2.
Aye.
Ibrahim and Hernandez. I mean, like, look, you saved 2 penalties, so that's 3 penalties he saved in the last 15, yeah? Because he only saved 1 for us the whole time he was with us. I wish him well, do you know what I mean? He was a good professional. He did a job for us, but in the end, it was starting to get, really, really bad, you know what I mean? Like, schoolboy errors and that. And the Italian league's a really, really slow league. It'll suit him. I'm not saying that what we've got at the minute's any better, but it was time to move on. It's time to move on with players. You've just got to do it. You cannot let sentimental value get a hold of you and keep a hold of them for that reason. It's time he moved on. He was on massive, massive money, and he was getting a lot of grief. So the time was right, but well done for saving the 2 penalties. Gallen, Man City are massive now, man. They are like the United team of the 90s. Play shite and win. Walks in the door just now from Ferry. My last slaps these headphones on like Harvey. Oh, I can't put that on, man. You nutter. He's mental, that kid, isn't he? Jesus. Up the open, lads. Why did Gary say Arsenal will win the league if Rodri out for season? You were going to win the league at the start of the season, so is that ruling you out?
Yeah, I never thought we'd win the league.
Taking off the season, we're doing a title charge. Watch the space, Martin Gallen, lad. Have you realised Haaland has been off the boil since Rodri got injured? And Ross Wilkinson says, hello, lads. Hello, Ross.
Right, Ross.
Pete the meat. Got Washington used to call him. Pete with no meat. Right, so topping Saturday off was obviously at Goodison Park. This game that Martin Gallen's been to this season, I think.
How did you get there?
You know what? I seen the goal, but I didn't see. And obviously, he was offside. But I don't know. Did he say it?
Aye, brilliant header, but like you say,
was he offside?
Oh, aye.
Was it?
Aye, it was an excellent header, but aye, if it's offside, isn't it? I mean, in fairness, like Newcastle pretty much controlled that game and should have won it. But again, a little bit like the City game, they're struggling to score from like open play. So it's that Achilles heel at the minute. But it's one of them things, isn't it? It's like Isak and Wilson. They keep getting injured. And ultimately, that's what's costing them at the minute. I mean, they're playing Gordon through the middle, but they lose so much by doing that, I think. Whereas when him and Barnes is like on the flanks, like they're as dangerous as anyone, but they need someone in the middle desperately. Then, like,
I agree. I don't think Callum Wilson's the answer either. He scores goals, but he's worse than Luke Shaw, isn't he, for injuries?
That's it. I like you say, I wouldn't care. He's a good player, really, but
He's a championship player at best, though, isn't he?
well, he may as well be playing more for Sunday League if he's not fit. But there we go. But I think Newcastle, they should have won that game. They'll be kicking themselves that they didn't. But point. But
the dominated possession and that expected goals was over 2. Everton's was just over a half. They had 14 shots on goal, Newcastle's to Everton's 8. No, goal attempts. 3 shots on goal to Everton's 2. 6 off goal to Everton's 5. And then Anthony Gordon, like the big teams getting penalties. Same thing happened to Newcastle, like they got a penalty. Huh?
He nearly pulled his torso. That Tarkowski joking. It was like he grabs him and pulls him down. It was more like a wrestling move. Well, I don't know what he's thinking, Dave.
And what we just said before, Crystal Palace. Where's Nelly's comment actually? What did Nelly say? It was a pain, but you're wrong saying it would be given against any other team. Any big team gets away with it. Fast forward at 5:30, Newcastle are gifted a penalty. I think Anthony Gordon shouldn't have stood up. He scores this. He's a hero, he's a villain, even more of a villain than what he already is. But put somebody else on it, somebody who hasn't got that connection, and that.
You just had a little bit too much meaning to it.
And you know what? Like you said the week before, no, I've got a breathing technique, what I do before penalties. And, honestly, I felt like I nearly fell a fucking sleep waiting on tapping the penalty.
It did. It was like he almost tacked himself out of it because he took too long to take it, didn't he? Like you said, there's probably other people on the pitch that could have took it.
100%.
But
100%. He misses it. And then, obviously, the next day, Everton Official Football Club retweet a missing, and then they do the X Factor when he misses. I think that's shit by a club, an official club. At the end of the day, right, no matter what's happened, you might be a villain and stuff, but the laddie grew up in your academy, and he never disrespected them at all the whole game. He got it after fouls because he was getting hammered. And ultimately, he got them 40 million quid, a small club.
And Mary had money that they actually desperately needed to keep them even afloat as an organisation, let alone out else. So I think they want to thank him that he went to Newcastle, because they could have been I don't know, they still got deducted points. So imagine how much they could even help the balance the books out. Like you say, it's a bit of a shitty one
it's a bit naughty. As much as I have banter and stuff, with the tune, that's naughty. That he hasn't done no wrong, really. They were saying, "Oh, I didn't turn up for training, this, that, and the tougher." You can only, you accept what people say is the truth, but ultimately, that's like you signing for Man United. You support United your whole life. You can't play for them. It would take something extreme for you to want to leave. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And what you've just said there, Gary, right, about the money. Had they not getting that money for that, they probably would have gotten relegated because of, like you said, it would
have bridged so much, didn't it? Because they lost it when the contractor, I think it was a contractor, went bust for building a stadium and had to be at a certain stage. So they needed that money to help finish the build of that stadium or to push it on anyway. And ultimately, he gave them that.
Let's just have a quick look here. But I just think it's bad. It's bad crack. They shouldn't have done it, and they've gotten a lot of grief for it. To be fair, and rightly so, mate.
It's unprofessional, isn't it? Because they didn't as fans and that. They didn't like it when players call like X teams and stuff like that. So it shouldn't happen the other way either, especially for a team to do it to an individual.
Newcastle play Everton at St James's Park on the last day of the season, right?
Oh.
Can you imagine they're in a relegation battle and Gordon scores the winner to send them down?
And then puts some of them
and then kisses the Toon badge.
Aye. But just the X Factor.
Pretty noble. For me, you don't put wingers up top, play him on the wing and play the young and up front. Correct. Lee Fairgrieve, some messer. See you at 7 a.m. Lucky again, the Toon. Stonewall Pen. Dan Byrne is clever in what he does. Pickford long arms. Was too much pressure on Anthony Gordon. Definitely agree with you. Martin Gallen, we're just giving everyone a head start. We'll still win it. Love your optimism, crispy lad. Gordon took it off Shaw. So would I. Did you see Shaw's penalty through the week against Wimbledon? Did you? I've never seen a penalty like it in my life. Honestly, he passed the ball, past the keeper. Literally 2 yards off him, passed it into the net. I thought, that is absolutely ridiculous. Any half-decent keeper saving that, mate. You should have given it to Bruno. Aye, definitely. Shut up, Ross. He didn't even step on Tuesday. Gordon is a bottle job. Billy Noble, Cressy would have scored. Gordon was a lifelong Liverpool fan. Apparently, he's close to the Liverpool move, and that's why his dip in form happened, because he's got the same agent as Gui, apparently, right? And Newcastle hadn't told them what they were planning. But if Newcastle bought him, he was off to Liverpool.
Was he?
Apparently so. Comes from a good source.
HP.
Right, let's have a look at this. Let's move on, unfortunately. First game up on the Sunday was Aston Villa 0, Man United 0. Should we leave that one to last? So we're going to have a good bit debate on it.
If you want.
Right. Chelsea won, Forest won. Chris Wood, ex-Newcastle player, goal scorer, scores for Forest. Maduki, whatever you want to call him, scores for Chelsea. Maduiki. James Ward-Prowse gets sent off for being a goalkeeper on the halfway line. See, note like that. You seen it?
Aye. Unbelievable.
He slips and he dives on it and pulls it back. Mental. Ends up ones each. Puts Martin Gallen out of last man standing, and Tony Messenger wins it. He's got to be thinking Gallen on 78 minutes when he gets sent off. I'm still in this.
You expected Chelsea to win that game regardless, didn't you? But against 10 men, sometimes that's the crack on it. Sometimes it is harder to play against 10 men because just everyone against them. I always feel it like Arsenal and City. Sometimes it's hard to break them down because they're that well organised, these teams, aren't they?
Aye, so a good point for Forest on the road.
Yes.
Especially doing the 10 men and all. Forest are sitting 10th. Chelsea
beat Liverpool away. A draw Chelsea, they would have took that at the beginning of the season. That's 4 big points, that.
Aye.
Probably games that they wrote off if they're being honest. In reality, they wrote them off as like no points at the beginning of the season, you would have thought. And you get 4. Oh,
definitely. You're putting points against a chart where you're going to be picking up points, aren't you? There would definitely be a 0.
Bet you 40 and say, look, this is where we want to pick up. That's 4 points with an out at.
Yeah. Definitely. Moving on. Brighton against Tottenham. Unbelievable. Tottenham, Johnson again scores, mate. He's doing well, him.
That's because I put him on my dream team, didn't I?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then James Madison 2-0. I don't know who this is. Just after half time, Minter or somebody.
Oh, I think that's him that used to be at the Toon, wasn't it?
Scores. plenty of ex-Newcastle players scoring this weekend. 2-1. Rutter makes it 2s each. Welbeck makes it 3-2. Tottenham leading 2-0 at half time. End up losing the game 3-2. Are you surprised?
A little bit. Because like Oh, but I mean, Spurs 2-0 up. I mean, especially when we played against them. I mean, they didn't really give much to Ghana at all, did they? I mean, we were diabolical, like, but I mean, we did see that Brighton's hard to beat at home. They're a decent outfit, and they do create chances. So, I mean, Danny Welbeck again. He scored a kind of few this season, has he not? I'm sure their manager came
Ex-Arsenal
on.
player.
Eh?
The ex-Arsenal player.
Aye. I'm sure their manager came on. He says he's an absolute dream to have a run the club, like for the youngins looking up to him. That he said, like, and he just keeps scoring, doesn't he?
Aye. Good win for them. Takes them up to 6th. Tottenham fall to 9th. Last game, Man United, Aston Villa 0, Man United 0. I'm going to put you on the solo, so I'm going to have a try at this while you got on. What do you make of that, Gary?
Absolutely shite. I mean, we've already spoken about this. Obviously, I know there's been a lot of crack about Ten Hag losing his job and what have you. For me, it's this playing out from the back and stuff. They brought this keeper in, Anana, and they put the ball on the edge of the 6-yard box. The centre half passes it to him, and it's so dangerous. Like, they're running the risk of losing the ball where players is running in and nearly nicking it. They get it to where they want to be, which is practically next to the halfway line, play it inside, and then go back. And you think you've just played high-risk football to get the ball there and then take it back. It's honestly, I don't understand what is going on at this football club or what they're being told to do with the football, but it's absolutely crap. I don't think they've got a clue what's going on.
See, I watched it live, as you know, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, well, I can't make a comment really, because it's different live to what it is. You're getting caught up in the moment and stuff, right? Their keeper got their man of the match.
Who their keeper did?
Martinez.
Did he?
Aston Villa's man of the match. Evans got ours. Evans got the Premier Leagues as well. Who I thought didn't put a foot wrong at all. Never in a hurry, and then he went off at half time. I thought, if anything, it was going to be Evans going off at half time, because every time he went in for a tackle, he was standing up and pulling his, I thought, oh, he's going to go off, and we're going to see De Ligt and Harry for the first time, which I think will work, because Harry's obviously a Premier League proven player, and he'll keep him right, because at the minute he's very rash. This playing out from the back, right? There was a kid in front of us saying the same as he. I didn't understand why they're doing it. So when they did it another time, I said to them, look, they've literally played the ball up. I said, there's 4 Villa players here.
Out of position.
That's 4 players out of position.
Aye.
If we then went on and attacked,
I get that.
You've got a lot more players there.
Aye, I get that. I get that.
And they end up turning back running half time at the halfway line and coming back. So it's pointless doing it. I didn't get it. Pep Guardiola started it, and everybody's trying to mirror him. Some teams can do it, some teams cannot do it. We're doing them a look at the minute, and we just cannot do it. I just put the ball up, let we fight for it in their half. You know what I mean? If we drop them, we'll win it back. But let's just say quickly, with Ten Hag, you know my point of view on this, Gary. I don't believe in keep sacking managers because, like I said, we've had 5 or 6 managers and we've sacked them all, and new superheroes come in and turn will run. Now what we've got is we've got a good backdrop, right? We've got it's happening in the background. There is a lot going on, and you can see change. He's brought in proper football people to look after football. Sir Alex Ferguson was on 7 points after 7 games. When he first started, he was 1 game away from the sack, and he turned it round. Them players obviously weren't playing for Sir Alex neither. Do you know what I mean? But he turned it round with them group of players, and he went on to be the most successful manager in the world. I'm not saying he's going to be the most successful manager in the world, right? But what I'm saying is, he's still inherited quite a few of them. Yes, he's bought dross, but when you're trying to play in a team that is doing on the look, then you're not showing your true potential. If you can't put any of them players into a City or an Arsenal team, the ones who are calling are shit, they'll look different players. And that's because they're flying. All it's going to take, right? All it's going to take It's 3 or 4 wins off the belt, right? And honestly, mate, we're up. We get to January, we get to May, we release some more high-paid players, yeah? We've then got a season of his new signings with 1 Premier League season behind them, experience. Next season, he brings a couple of more in. We've got a good run going. I honestly think we'll be all right, I think. And I know everybody's laughing, saying, Ten Hag in. Like, he's had a hard week there. Yes, we went 2-0 up at Porto, and we end up coming away with a draw. And we've got a draw against the Villa team, who are really doing well at the minute. They just beat Bayern Munich last week. So a draw isn't a bad result. We had got chances, but I think as players, I think he needs to be stronger in his decision making. And when they're not playing, drop the likes of Bruno. Drop him. He isn't undroppable. You've got to drop him. Like, he hasn't played Diallo yesterday. I totally disagree with that. It should have been Diallo ahead of Garnacho. He's been my best player lately. So he will get things wrong. But who doesn't? Everybody gets things wrong. You know what I mean? Like, I take
it, but like, what annoys us as well is like he's brought these players in, right, to like rebuild the whole from the back, and he starts with a player that he brought in on a free transfer who was only trainable because he got released from Leicester City, who got relegated. He's turned out to be our best centre half, and the guy that's playing alongside him is someone that he took the captaincy off last season and basically threatened to put him into the reserves because he wasn't gonna, because basically he wouldn't go into West Ham because he didn't want it. Like, and then you're starting them and you're expecting them to save your job, which they did, because I'm under no illusion that he was sacked. I told you, when I seen that there was Jim Ratcliffe, there was Barada, they were all sat there, and they were there for one reason alone, and that was because he was going to get dragged in the boardroom. They thought it was nailed on, and he was going to get sacked after that game. And you cannot buy in all these players. I mean, Martinez is like 60-odd million. I mean, he had a good season last season, got injured, come back, he's looked different. He slows the play down. We've both said that. De Ligt, I mean, for me, he's looked all right. He is rash, but I think you just keep putting him in there because you can see there's a player in there. But for drop them two, you spent £50 million on a midfielder that you chased all summer. And, I mean, there's nothing in the middle of the park. I mean, you got rid of Fred, and people might laugh here, but Fred was probably our best ball carrier and didn't replace him. You've replaced, and now you're sitting with 2 players in Casemiro and Lisagardie, and even if they get the ball, they kind of drive forward and get way into the other half. We haven't got anyone that can carry the ball. He went and bought Mason Mount when he's the carbon copy of Bruno Fernandes. And Inazi's only ever going to play one of them. He's went and bought 2 young strikers that he'll not play together. Like, you're spending money in the wrong places. You spent £85 million on a right winger that doesn't even.
He looked better yesterday, by the way.
Yeah,
he looked better yesterday when he came on.
He did, but like, I don't know. I don't see how you can just keep making mistake after mistake and not think like you're responsible for it.
He's got a good pedigree, Gary. Like, he's not a fucking idiot that's come from like now. He's won titles all over. And he will be successful, whether it's at Manchester United or whether it's somewhere else. I don't know. Like, a lot of people didn't like him, I know that. But a lot of, like, we had Jose Mourinho, a renowned winner, sacked. Louis van Gaal, class manager over the years, class, sacked.
Aye, but you've got to remember, like, since Ten Hag's come in, he's literally been given the reins of this football club for 2 years.
He's in a Carabao Cup in that time. Which Gigante that says has won anything?
No, but I also believe that, like, if other managers were given the free reins, we would have been in a much better position. I honestly think that we'll play worse now than what we did when he took over. I think we're much better under Solskjaer.
Well, you say that, right? You say that, but
what is the lads in the chat think? What do you think? Do you think we're better under Solskjaer or not? Like, I mean, right? So, finished third, finished second, like, and scored for fun. We're blowing teams away. Marcus Rashford scored more goals that season than he ever has. It wasn't only until Ronaldo came in, upset the apple tree, and ultimately it cost him his job. They both turned round and says it was a mistake, but it was both the thing that they both had to do at that time. He wishes he hadn't, but that's life.
I did read that. I think Solskjaer lost 7 games or something in his last 10. Like,
that's what I'm saying. It was like
I'm not saying that he should have been sacked either. You know what I mean? I'll back every manager until the day that he's sacked. Like, I will. At the end of the day, you know, you never know. You know, like there's a lot going on. He's put up with a lot. He's put up with a lot. Ten Hag, like
he has, and he's been backed. My point is it looks at the minute that he's buying players, and they just didn't look that good. If I'm being honest, like that's my problem, and I just didn't like the football. I think we're not good to watch.
The trouble is, right? You've got Jeff here, right? They're not turning nothing around, Melly. Proper shit team, lads. Let us put it in a way, but like Jeff's line of work. That's like Jeff down to work, right? And painting with an absolute clown. Doesn't matter how good of a painter Jeff is, his work alongside this clown will be made to look shit. Once that painter that is shit has learned the ropes of Jeff, they'll become good painters. That's what we've got at the minute. 5 or 6 new signings there. 4 or 5 players who either didn't want to be the Rashford. I don't know about Harry, you know, like you've just said, you know, like about the captaincy and that. So there's got to be bad feeling there. I think there's only like Bruno doesn't do a lot, mate. He hasn't done a lot lately for sure, right? He really hasn't.
I think they should have took that 70 million or whatever they offered in the summer.
But I think he's the only one that puts 100% in every week. I think he's got the gaffers back. And Dalot, but Dalot's crap. So you've got crap mixing with newbies who are learning the crap. It's got to get better. It can't get any worse. It's got to get better.
Where did that Harry Amos go? Is he still injured?
Still there. Still at United. I don't understand why they're not playing him.
That's what I mean. Is he injured? That's what I mean. Like you've got Dalot playing there, who keeps giving the ball away every 2 minutes, and then he gans and thinks he's Rodri, and then the next minute he thinks he's. Honestly, I didn't get it.
Amos, Harry. No, he's just not in the squad, mate.
Thing is, he had such a good pre-season.
I tell you what I was saying to somebody the other day. You know this new kid that they've signed from Arsenal? He's 16. Same age Wayne Rooney was. We are not scoring goals. We could have played for 2 weeks yesterday and not scored a goal. That's how poor they were, right? We need a goal scorer. We've got one there. Bring him in. Yes, he's 16, but get him in. If they're good enough, they're old enough, it's as simple as that. The kid will score 9 goals every game nearly, man. You know what I mean?
I think you'll see him. I think he was only like cleared on Friday or something as an official side. I think in the next, like after the national break, you might see him in the squads.
Not day any worse. Gallon, what time is Dobie on the stage tomorrow night? Says Geordie, tune for life. Tottenham pure nut bottle job, says Terry Haglington. Billy says that he never played for the Toon Minter. If only City got away with it last season. Welbeck is fit at 34 than 24. I agree with that. I've obviously showed Jeff's message. Peter Painter saying, and which United players do you think would get into City or Arsenal teams? I'm not saying any of the players would get into City or Arsenal teams. What I'm saying is, if they were in City or Arsenal teams, you would see a totally different side. But I think Garnacho gets in. I think Manu gets in. I think Amad Diallo gets in. Definitely an honour. Lee Fairgrieve, Rebred, Evans, Welbeck, Diallo, Pickford. The list goes on. Henderson back to his hometown club for the final push to replace Dan Neil. Let's go. 600 million and failing. Wish the Toon could spend that. You didn't, man. We're a prime example of you can spend and still not be successful. You know what I mean?
I agree with that comment. Like Xerxes should be number 10. I've said that, didn't I? I would play him in the hole.
100%. But that's what I'm saying. That's where Ten Hag lets himself do. He'll not drop Bruno. He needs to drop Bruno. You know, when Bruno got sent off in the Premier League, I was over the moon.
We'll
see. Well, you know, like, granted, he does a lot of work. He puts 100% in. But lately, I think he needed that rest. He needed that 3-game rest. And he hasn't getting it. He needs to drop him. Xerxes definitely number 10. He'll hold the game up and he'll bring other players into the game. Has he not won cups because other top 6 clubs were worried about securing a top 4 finish? Well, he'll not be painting with clowns on 300 grand a week, though. Eddie Howe, he's signed 20 players. It's his team now. It's still only 3. Yeah, the trouble is everybody thinks that it's like it's a quick tournament constantly. You know, like Newcastle people cannot get on our back. What has Eddie Howe won for Newcastle? Nothing. The Iceland Cup. Howe, man. You know what I mean? If anybody should be if Ten Hag should be under pressure, so should Eddie Howe. You've gone to Everton, a team that's got 1 point all season and drew with them. You luckily, and I mean luckily, gifted again another penalty against AFC Wimbledon. Like, you know, how well, lads? Let's be honest here. You know what I mean? Like, good point, Gaza. Still out to the horn. Get Gaza in midfield. Football was easier on the eye under Solskjaer, Gary Brotherton.
I totally agree.
Aye, it was for a while, and then it got really bad, and it's starting to get borderline like harassment of a legend. You know what I mean? So you had to again, sentimental value. You kind of keep them for that. He's a legend at United, and it was getting to the point where we were in the crowds and like people were booing him, and you know what I mean? It's wrong, man. It's just.
I think you know what upset a lot of people though at that time is like the way the fans, especially because Cavani was like a proper fan's favourite because he'd run his arse into the grunt, and when Ronaldo came in, they stripped him of the number 7, they upset him. He was on the bench a lot, and even when he was coming on, he was like one of our best players. He was so good, that man. And I didn't think people agreed with what went on there. I didn't think it was fair, but it was that Ronaldo thing. That's what killed Solskjaer, and he knows it.
100%. Iceland Cup, jeez. Until we have 14 or 15, 40 million pound players, you can't judge how. Of course you can. He's in the limelight. You've got Bruno, you've got Linton, you've got Isaac, you've got Gordon, you've got Shaw, you've got Pope, you've got Trippier, Botman. You've got quite a few, mate. You've had quite a few. So he absolutely can be judged.
Dan Tonali. How are you?
Time is coming. You're just trying to give 75 million for Gui, man. But you know you didn't. That's why you didn't get him. You only wanted 60 million. Our time is coming. You went to Palace who hadn't won and drew 0-0. And now, but we've been doing poorly, you know, like, which is echoing what you're saying here. You're saying that Ten Hag is useless, this, that, and the top, but Eddie Howe isn't much better, mate. Not at all. If you want to win anything, you got to get rid of Eddie Howe. It's as simple as that. You need a born winner in. Eddie Howe had his best chance playing Man United in the Carabao Cup final and bottled it. Totally bottled it. Your tactics were all wrong. Were absolutely annihilated you. That's the best chance you've ever had of winning a trophy, and you fucked it up. 90 minutes against a poor Man United, and you couldn't beat them. He needs to be questioned. I'm still watching Emil Kraft, for fuck's sake, 3 years after being taken over. 40 million. I'd never know the exact price, but you know, you've had quite a few signings, mate. We had 5 championship players playing, but that's not our fault. You've had 5 windows with them. You know what I mean? It's not our fault that Gui and that didn't want to come to them because they've got that much gold. You know what I'm saying? Mad, man. Mad. Right. Let's have a look quickly. What we'll do is, Gary, we'll predict the next round of the Premier League fixtures. Obviously, there is more matches. Boom for what on? Yes. There is an international break coming up, which we're not really going to cover because we're not really asked about it. Not well as an Irishman running the England League and not singing the national anthem anyway. Right. Let's have a look. We're on. Right, here we go then. So, Gary, let's go through them. Saturday, the 19th of October is the next Premier League game. It starts off at White Hart Lane, Tottenham against White Hart Lane. Aye. Is that right?
It's not. No.
What is it new?
It's not the Hotspur Stadium or the London Stadium.
Right.
Or the Tottenham Hotspur
Stadium. 12:30 kickoff. How do you see that going? Use in the comments. How do you see it going?
Ooh, I think London Derby, I am going to say 2-2.
2-2.
2-2.
I'm going to go for a 2-1 West Ham win. Hit a bit of form there. Tottenham doing on the look. Maybe after that loss. International break might do them a favour, but I don't know. I fancy West Ham 2-1. You're going 2-2.
Yeah.
Billy Noble has gone 3-0 to West Ham. Lee Fairgrieve is also going for a Desmond. 2-2. Terry Haglington says 2-1 to West Ham, like me. The Tottenham Hotspur Stadium says Geordie tune for life. What score you going for, Geordie? Tune for life. Let me know. Moving on. Man United against Brentford.
I am going to say 2-1 to Man United.
Geordie tune for life says 2-1 to Spurs there. 2-1 to Man United?
Yep.
I'm going to go for 4-0 to Man United.
The click.
We're going for it.
On the title shot.
Billy Noel's gone 2-0 to Brentford. Lee Fairgrieve, 1-1. No. Lee Fairgrieve, 3-2 Man U. Geordie Tune for Life has gone for ones each. I was waiting on Terry. Oh, Terry, there he is. 3-1 to Brentford. I wish I'd never fucking waited on you. Rooney looking like you. Newcastle against Brighton. How you see the gun?
I'm going to say 2-1 Brighton.
2-1 Brighton. I'm going to go for 1-0 to Brighton. Anthony going to miss a penalty. Again.
Shall take it.
Aye. Billy Noble, he reckons it's going to be 3-2 to the Toon. I don't think the Toon scored 3 in a game all season, have it? So is Terry Haglington, 3-1 to the Toon. He has the tunnel vision coming out. Lee Fairgrieve's gone 3-1 to Brighton. It's doable, like a hard team. Newcastle's obviously got the home advantage. But still, they're a hard team to play. Moving on, Bournemouth against Arsenal.
I can't say anything there apart from an Arsenal win, so I'm going to say a 2-0 Arsenal.
I am going to go for 3-0 to Arsenal. Again, like they are looking strong. Bournemouth obviously got beat off Leicester at the weekend there. I don't know how that. Geordie Tune for Life is saying 4-0. Man U, they have scored 5 goals in the league. We need to get our goal difference back up, man. Time. Just wait for it to click. 2-1 Bournemouth, says Terry Haglin. 4-0 to Pep's Puppet, says Billy Noble. However, the Toon will blame the barriers or something. 2-0 to Arsenal, says Geordie Tune for Life. Liverpool against Chelsea. No. Sorry. Ipswich against Everton.
I'm going to say a 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw.
I am.
I think Everton will win 2-1. I don't know. They look really good there at the weekend against Newcastle. I don't know. I just think Everton's on a little bit of a streak, aren't they? Calvert-Lewin starts into the back of the net, and they'll score for fun. They can defend, as they proved. So, 2-1. You're going for what? 1-1?
1-1, yeah.
1-1. So is Ferry. Ferry's gone for ones each. Billy Noble has gone for 2-0 to Ipswich. Geordie Tune for Life has gone for 1-0 to Ipswich. Terry Haglington's gone for 2-1 to Ipswich. Jackie Clark, is obviously playing for Ipswich now. He went from Sunderland. Another Sunderland prodigy, you'll say. But he is good. He's like Rig, isn't he? Rig's going to be a good player. Let's hide this. Yes. Next up, Fulham against Aston Villa. Got draw written all over.
That'd be a decent game, that one. I'm gonna say Fulham will win that 2-1.
Fulham 2-1.
Yep.
I'm going for 2-2. Desmond Tutu. It's just got goals written all over it, isn't it? I think that's
I think it'll be a canny game.
Aye, absolutely. Ferry's gone for hold on. Rig will be for the Toon, says Billy Noble. Barry's gone 2-1 to Villa. Geordie Toon for Leeds gone the opposite way. He's gone 2-1 for Fulham. Terry Haglin saying 1-1. Billy Noble has gone for a Desmond Tutu as well. Southampton against Leicester City.
Southampton against Leicester. I mean, Southampton need to get a win there. Like, I think they might. I'm going to say 2-1 to Southampton.
You know what, Gary? I'm going to agree with you, mate. I'm going to go 2-1 Southampton as well. I think Leicester will score. It'll be a draw up until the 70th minute, and then Southampton will nick it 2-1. Terry Haglin doesn't think that, though. Terry Haglin thinks it will be 4-1 to Leicester. Geordie Toon for Life thinks 2-0 to Southampton. Billy Noble's echoing us and saying 2-1 to Southampton. Barry thinks it's been 1-0 to the Saints. Moving on. Wolves against Manchester City is the 2:00 kickoff. How do you see that going, Gary?
I can't say anything but a City win there, to be honest. I'm going to say 3-0 to Man City.
Well, I would like that to be an upset. So I'm going to say 2-1 to Wolves.
Huh?
Will it happen? I don't know, but I don't know. I think Wolves have got to get a result sometime, haven't they? They're there or thereabouts. They're scoring goals, but they're conceding more. Can they get into this game and think, right, we need to defend here? These are going to attack us like something rotten.
And just hit them on the break.
And then can we break? And they can score. So, we'll see how it goes anyway. I'm just putting this the fantasy league up for before we leave quickly at the end. Sunday, 4:30 on the 20th of October. Big game down in Merseyside. You've got Liverpool against Chelsea. How do you see that going? But 2 minutes, sorry. Let us just flick back here to Wolves against City. Terry Haglin saying 3-2 to City. Geordie Toon for Life saying 4-0 to City. Ferry is saying 3-1 to City. And Billy Noble, 3-0 City. That's why they're lawyers. That's what their lawyers said it would be. Yes, Liverpool, Chelsea.
I'm gonna go for an upset, and I'm gonna say I think Chelsea win this game. I'm gonna say Chelsea will nick it 2-1.
I'm gonna go for ones each. I don't think any team will win. They'll cancel each other out. Chelsea always turn up against the big boys, give a good game. So I'm gonna go for 1-1. In the comments, we have Geordie Toon for Life saying Liverpool 3, Chelsea 1. Billy Noble's gone for a 3-3 draw. Terry Haglin's gone for 3-1 to Chelsea. Big shout out to Grant. What a story. Canny random, but he's climbed Kilimanjaro. Davy Ayres climbed Mount Everest. 2 lads, Ashington lads there, climbing the biggest mountains in the world this weekend. Wouldn't be me. Like, you get the top, you'd be knackered, wouldn't you? You think, fucking hell, I've got to walk all the way back. Don't know.
You would, like.
There's plenty of pictures online. But no, seriously, well done, lads. Absolutely amazing achievement. Kudos. 100%. And finishing off the weekend, mate, it's on the Monday night down in Forest. And it's Nottingham Forest against Palace. 8:00 kickoff. How do you see it, Gan?
Jesus. I think if them two are playing in the back garden, I'd probably pull the blinds. But I think I'm going to have 1-1.
I'm going to go 2-1 to Forest. I think they'll win it. Good shout, though, Gary. 1-1. Got draw written all over it, hasn't it? I just think Forest will be in at home. Like, I've got to win, really, haven't they? Had a good little run there, so we'll see. Ferry said nails each with Chelsea and Liverpool. Billy Wood is saying 3-0 to Wood. 3-0. All right, Chris Wood. Forest 1-1. 2-0 Forest, says Terry Haglington. Any more? Who are we waiting on? Ferry. Yeah. Just quickly while we're waiting on Ferry's coming through. We the last man standing for Elton Junior's under 8s, Melvin's little team. We're trying to take them away to Skegness at the end of next season. £10 enter. You pick a team from these fixtures here on the screen. If your team wins, you move on to the next week, but you can't pick that team that you picked. If you are the last man, woman standing at the end, you win half the pot. So far, we've got about probably about 50 players now. So there's 500 quid, it's 250 quid straight through the middle to the winner. All you've got to do is pick a winner from any fixture. And as the week's gone on, you're not allowed to use the teams that you've used before. £10 to enter for the whole competition. Not only are you helping the kids potentially get away to the competition, but you could also win yourself a nice little jackpot. If you want to do it, get on my Facebook, and I've tagged Elton Jr.'s Last Man Standing. Click on there, send the message over, and we'll get back to you with the details. And then these will be the fixtures that you're picking from. So I'm going to go on a limb here and say that I'm going to pick first up. Jesus.
Just shut up. I'm going to pick Arsenal.
It would be Man United, wouldn't it? You know, with our name.
No, I'm going Arsenal or Man City.
United always let me do.
All right.
Ferry went ones each, by the way, for Forest and Chelsea. That's what we're waiting on. Canny first week back, says Billy Noble. Absolutely. Anybody can beat anybody in this year's Premier League. 100%. Geordie Toon for Life says, I'll pick Brentford. Get your tenner in, mate. You can have them. I'm in after this week. Champion. So, that being said, let us just quickly click off that and we'll nip onto the ultimate team. What we're running, the fantasy team, sorry. I'm not going to run the advert tonight. It's too long. We're nowhere in 20 minutes in, Gary, here.
I know, fine.
Jesus. Right. So, for those that are in our fantasy league at the moment, this is how it's looking. In first position, Andrew Walton with Blythe Spartan. Lewis Chaplin's in second. Scott Appleby's dropped down to third. Neil Wallace stayed in the same place in fourth. Davy Armstrong's nipped up into fifth. Harry Cook's in sixth. Brazilian Gary Dodds is in seventh. Dropping a couple of places as Jimmy Craig and Anthony Street. Eddie stayed in the same place there in 10th. That concludes your top 10. And then I'll just flick through these. So then you've got Crispy in 11th, Gary Broughton in 12th. You've gone up there, Gary. Colin Stocks dropped down 13th. Martin Gallen in 14th. Connor Potts in 15th. Chris Dobie is in 16th. Josh Robson 17th. Darren Percy 18th. Ian Douglas in 19th. And staying in the same positions this week is Paul Davison in 20th. Me in 21st. I've took over Ben, like. And Ward Jack, I don't think he's been honest. Ward Jack, look at this. Watch. Oh, he's took Tony off there because I've messaged him the other day, but he's still had Tony up front with Maupay and they're both injured. Playing like us never played. They've all got eyes next to them, look. I said, what are you doing, lad? You're mental. Let's have a quick look at Gary's team, should we? See how he's managed to get. He's trying to break in the top 10. Gary, are you?
12.
12. United, he's called. He's got Ryan Nets. You need to move. He's out. Pam Lewis gone for a back five. 5-3-2 there. Ahmad. Even you've got Ahmad on the bench. You want to sack Ten Hag, and you've got Ahmad on the bench.
What?
What's all that about?
Well, he wouldn't get on the pitch for them three, would he?
You've just given a massive spiel about Ten Hag. You're still Ahmad on the bench.
Because he wasn't playing, was he?
Well, he didn't know he wasn't playing though. How?
Yeah, Dave one.
Hey, lad. And I don't know how I'm 21st. I've got a cracking team.
And you're sitting trying to tell Ten Hag how to play? You stand above Ten Hag.
The winning team this week, Blythe Spartan, Andrew Walton, good kid from Plymouth, Pickford Nets, Gabriel right back, Saliba, Virgil van Dijk, and Guy, should have been black and white that. Rogers on the left, Palmer in the middle with Louis Diaz and Smith Rowe, Havertz and Jackson up front. He's got Henderson, Son, Isaac, and Hall on the bench. So he's done all right for having a pretty shit team, really, isn't it? If you want to join this group, let us know. Get involved in the crack. We will be doing more about it as the season goes on. We're just getting warmed up. We're literally like trying to get to grips with it, aren't we? It's the first season I've done with it anyway.
We'll try and get people to see like who they're going to bring in for the week coming up and stuff, who's they got the best fixtures and so on, players in form and just a bit of
maybe like if we can get an extra day through the week, do you tag on just on the fantasy? Do you know what I mean? I think people do that. I don't know what Leanne will say, like, but we'll give it a go. I love the banter on this show. That's what it's all about. Cheers, Millie and Gary. Up the Geordie Mags. Cheers, mate. We appreciate it. We really do.
Sorry.
Gary, at least you're 2 places higher than Manu. Good crack. Listen, somebody mentioned that we should maybe do a later show. Instead of 7 o'clock, maybe it's 9 o'clock on a Monday, 9 till 10, when the kids are in bed or people are settled, listen to in bed on the headphones or whether you're just chilling or what. Let me know what you think. We'll maybe just put a poll up on Talking Turf or something, Gary. And we're happy to do that, 9 o'clock and for an hour, 1 week, see how it goes. You happy to do that?
Yep.
What else you want to say before we let everybody go?
Ten Hag out.
10 again.